Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Project Zomboid House Flip. My name's Damien Darkside, and in this episode we'll be going over the much requested Rosewood Fire Department. This is a very large location, so our character is going to be quickly going through the two offices, a bathroom, an exercise room, a conference room, and a spare storage room beside the garage. One of the main benefits of settling inside of a fire department is that you get this massive garage in order to maintain all of the vehicles you want to have in the apocalypse, which is a huge resource benefit, especially when their map is this big. The top floor here has a lot of space for you to be able to work out your creativity and reuse a lot of this location for your own purposes. The second floor itself contains two dorm rooms that have a couple of beds, as well as change rooms that have lockers for storage, and two private showers. The two bathrooms up here also have toilets and sinks that can be drained for water. You also have a massive kitchen and a rec room. Unfortunately, the key thing about fire stations doesn't work in Project Zomboid. You can't go down the pole. 0 out of 10, garbage game, got a refund. Now crossing the garage, you could go outside and see that we have plenty of space in order to do whatever we want. With the tall chain link fences, we're able to keep the zombies out from everywhere but the front direction that's the main road, which is pretty good for security. Of the urban locations in Project Zomboid, Rosewood is probably the least populated one of them. Therefore, I consider this to be a medium urban location. It is a massive, 2-story city utility building, which means that you could just take out the stairs and live on the top floor if you want to live a solo lifestyle. The Rosewood Fire Department is located on the south side of the main street. Alongside of the main street, you could find a bookstore, a few places with food, a grocery store, and at the north side, there's a gas station. This gives you plenty of locations to loot and survive late into the apocalypse. Now, surviving the apocalypse alone might be good enough for some, but I think most would want to live in the apocalypse with a lot of other people. So in this location, I decided to make this a multiplayer base. It has nice, strong log walls for the front to prevent zombies from coming into the backyard, as well as any other raiders from wanting to come in and steal your vehicles. Log walls are pretty easy to set up. You just need logs as well as a bunch of rip sheets that you can get from zombies pretty easily. The main lobby opens up into a new office that has our water supplies as well as any recording of what's going in and out of the main base. We also have Officer Pink here to make sure that everyone's in line. Exiting the office, we are going to go over here to our new armory that has easy access to all of the guns that we've found in the police station, as well as all of the residential areas nearby. And of course, you have to make sure that the ammo is all nice and stored up so you know how much you have left in order to deal with the hordes. Exiting the armory, we're going to be going over to the washrooms over here, and as you can see, I've done nothing, because sometimes you just need a washroom, nothing else fancy. Now what is fancy is our new exercise room filled with all of the sports you need to have, such as football, soccer, tennis, baseball, and the weights in order to become strong and fit in the apocalypse and take on those hordes. And to pair with it will be the tools of the trade, which you can craft in this weapon storage and crafting room, where we have plenty of shelves to keep all of our lethal equipment. Fighting in the apocalypse will not only take a physical toll, but a mental toll as well, so I have a relaxation room for you to hotbox and blast music. Because like the great philosopher Bradley Noel of Sublime once said, I work good and I work hard, but first take care of head. And speaking of taking care of things, you can now take care of your very own fire truck. Come on, you're in a fire department. You have to have a fire truck. Some assembly required, fire domination not included. Ask your parents for help. Now, in order to maintain all of the vehicles in the apocalypse, you're going to need a place to manufacture a bunch of parts. So for this location, I've converted one of the main storage rooms to a metalworking room. This is the place where we could put all of our metal sheets, spare metal parts, and other things that we need in order to keep our vehicles running properly in the apocalypse. Keeping this space and yourself clean in the apocalypse is going to be tough, so I made sure that these two rooms were dedicated to cleanliness, having one room with a bunch of bleach and cleaning supplies for the place, and the second one dedicated to cleaning yourself, while this poster keeps you company. But of course, we're going to get nice and dirty by working on our cars. Fortunately, when I knocked out the walls in this space, it happened to fit right in between the two windows, which is pretty nice. This space allows us to also keep our cars away from the main road and behind the wall, which is great for protection. This location's water is maintained by a bunch of water collection barrels that are on the side of the building in order to fill up all of the taps. This includes the sinks on the second and first floor. Now going into the back, we have a fireplace area where all of the people in the place can join around outside and sing songs around the campfire. I decided to appropriate all of the hedge fences from nearby neighborhoods in order to border our fields. And you know what? If these fields don't get you to farming level 10, quite frankly, I don't know what will. And that's one of the things about having a massive space like this, is that you can really grind out your skills in farming or carpentry by utilizing the space in the back. You could also make a bunch of towers like I did in the Caesar's Legion build, or you could have even more space to have more cars set up as a scrapyard. If you have a relatively safe space in the back, you could use that to really grind out your skills in a macro way, rather than doing tiny little pieces across your playthrough. Now, speaking about changing things inside of this place, I ripped out all of the walls inside of these change rooms and showers, and I decided to make a new dorm hallway. You'll notice that each dorm room in here has its own unique setup. It has a bed, a chair, a table, and a light source. Also, it has a blue locker for you to keep all of your supplies in the apocalypse. It really makes me imagine what my locker would look like in the apocalypse. What would yours look like? What would you store in that? Post down below in the comments what you would have in your own personal storage locker inside these dorm rooms. Exiting these rooms, I figured that a location like this would probably have a leader, and that leader would have a right-hand person. So this is the second in command's room. This comes with the advantages of having more space, as well as having a larger bed to sleep in. I converted this side dorm room into the main bedroom after I repainted the walls and added all of the furniture inside of it. Exiting the room areas, we're going to be entering the kitchen, where there's going to be tons of storage along the sides as we enter for quick and easy access of snacks, as well as a bunch of tables for all of our people to sit down and enjoy a hot, fresh cooked meal. I personally like how there's a bunch of tables and chairs that are mismatched in both of these rooms, kind of like how they had to keep adding furniture as more survivors showed up, because it's not like the IKEA nearby is going to be open. I added rope ladders here to act as functional fire poles. Now 3 people can ascend and descend really quickly. And with that, we have our entire build. Thank you all for suggesting this place multiple times. This was a blast, although it definitely was one of the largest places I've had to deal with. Thank you all for coming out. I really appreciate it, and I can't wait to see you all in the next video. So make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Peace.